Hi, today I'm going to share a story with you about an invitation. This is actually part one of a 4-part short story I wrote for my book series, Exhilarating Journey. One part begins and sets the tone for each of the 4 books. I pray it encourages your heart and sets you on a path to even greater exploration and encounter with God. Welcome to Stronger at Rest, where together we explore the heart of God, encounter His lavish love, and emerge in complete freedom as the people He created us to be. Daily, stronger at rest. Her days had been marked by a comfortable sameness of routine for years. Every moment scripted and neatly cataloged on her to-do list. During the day, she kept herself busy enough not to have to acknowledge that she was bored, lonely, and merely going through the motions. It was in the long hours between the time she went to bed and the time she fell asleep that her heart whispered to her. In all the tedium of her oh-so-average life, she didn't realize she had caught someone's eye. He loved her, and he longed to take her out of the mundane and into the life he knew she had been created for. A life of passion, fire, joy, delight, and adventure. He saw the potential in her, and every fiber of his being wanted to draw out what he saw, to show her the life that waited for her participation. If only she would stop long enough to acknowledge his outstretched hand and take the risk of walking with him off the map of her suffocating comfort zone and into the fullness of the life that had her name written all over it. She said she loved him. Sometimes she even made time for him when work didn't get in the way. On Sundays, she worshiped with pure abandon, giving the appearance of a glorious relationship. In reality, she didn't truly know him. She saw him as one afar off and adored him from a distance because she was fully persuaded that there was no way he could truly love her. And why should he? He was beautiful beyond description, strong, glorious, radiant with life and splendor. In prayer, worship, and time spent reading her Bible, he would captivate her heart and hope would flicker, but she would quickly dismiss it. She was nothing special. Definitely not somebody worthy of the lavish attention and outrageous affection she felt drawing her to him. Yet it was his voice she heard, night after night after night, as she tried to sleep, and morning by morning, before she awakened fully. Her spirit leapt at the sound, thrilled at his words, but her mind quickly reminded her that he was amazing, and she was merely a broken, cast-off woman with nothing to offer anyone, especially him. He knew how she felt. He knew the thoughts racing through her mind and the fear that kept her shackled to a past that only defined her because she didn't know she had a choice. So, hour after hour, day after day, he continued to speak gently to her, to whisper his love, to woo her with his songs. Oh, how his heart soared in those moments when she would lay aside her fear and join his song. Those moments elated him with irrepressible joy. She was worth it all. Every moment, every breath, and he would not stop extending his hand until she took it. Then it happened. Sitting at her desk, crossing another item off her checklist, she wondered aloud, what if there's more and I'm missing it? It wasn't a new thought to her. As a writer and a romantic, the idea was always there. The hope of adventure and glory, the call to the extraordinary life that looked great on paper, but never seemed to play out in real life. But something was different this time. The question was not rhetorical, as it had been in the past. This time, her heart longed for an answer. This time, her spirit was open to hear what he had to say, knowing only he knew. There is more, my beloved. Take my hand, and I'll show you the life you've been missing. This, too, was not new. He'd been making the same invitation for years, and she had met that invitation by diligently adding more to her to-do list, to give the appearance of having said yes, while treading safely outside the unknown. Until this moment, she hadn't understood that it was actually personal. This wasn't an invitation to work harder, to serve more, to read the Bible longer, to worship better. Instead, it was an invitation to know him, an invitation to take a journey into his heart and find herself there. With hand extended and eyes burning with passionate desire, he waited, because he knew, just as she did, that it was time. That's the end of part 1. If you feel, as the character of the story did, that same pull to take God's hand and walk off the map, I encourage you to take the chance. He is so worth it. Have a wonderful day. This has been your daily Stronger at Rest. If you haven't already, I invite you to click subscribe now so you don't miss a single episode. For more of my content, visit strongeratrest.com, where you can sign up for my newsletter and find exclusive posts not shared in other places. This episode is brought to you by Cenacle TV, Vitality Education on Demand. There, Jaron and I equip you to defy the status quo. Define vitality for yourself based on your own identity, values, and desires. Develop the capacity to live the truths you discover out loud and be deployed into your families, workplaces, and communities in the fullness of who you were created to be. Enjoy a free 1-week trial as well as half off your first month by using promo code STRONGERATREST. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in another episode.